Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We're going to continue our journey into learning just a little bit more of this amazing language a day. Last time we talked about 真心实意. So 心 and 意 are your intention, and 真 and 实 means the type of attention, which is your true thought, your true intention. There's no second layer or second thought in there. Today we continue with 意 in 意兴阑珊. 意兴阑珊 is a little bit kind of a classical Chinese. That's old way of expression. We mostly use this word in a written form. Like I seldom heard anybody use it in our daily language in speaking at all. So this is kind of, we call it a 文绉绉. So as if you're talking to high class literature, that we use this type of expression. And just by the expression, you see like how complicated these characters are. So that complexity of individual characters, as well as the meaning, because it's not straightforward. Like even I check it up, I'm trying to make sense of why these four characters put together to mean a certain thing. Let's go each one. So we talked in the last 3 episodes something about the music of heart, right? So this music come from your tongue image here. Well, it's hard to, okay, besides the 2 horizontal lines, the rest of them are the tongue. And then you have this 1 horizontal line within the tongue. So that's some sound coming out of your tongue, right? And then you have the 2 sound bites going further away from your mouth. So this is how it's visualized. Isn't it interesting? So you have this organ of the mouth, and then it's pointing to this cross thing with the tip of the tongue. So because we can only see the tip of it, but then just by a little bit of showing there, kind of draws your attention to imagine that within your mouth, the remaining piece of the tongue, right? So but actually in making the mouth symbol is used. So we do have visually both the mouth there and the tongue, the tip of the tongue there. And then we have the sound coming out of the tongue. And in other cases, this means something you're holding in your mouth for a long time. That's something sweet to the taste that you want to hold it in your tongue. So sweet things, sound bites coming out of your mouth is our symbol for singing. And eventually this singing extend from not just vocal singing, but instrumental as well. So that's music in general. And we have music on the top and the heart at the bottom. Music of heart, that is heart used as, this is East and West, ancient and contemporary as well, that people use heart symbol a lot to mean the mental activity, what you internal processing within this space, but somehow we wrongly targeted to the heart, which is a blood pumping organ, doesn't really have any mental activity. Well, it does. It wired to feel, to sense the remaining of the body, right? To pump the blood at the right force and right frequency, so that you have just the right amount of blood in the right of activity to match it up, right? So it does have a kind of a computation over there, but besides the blood supply, it doesn't supply much anything else. So mental activity, but still in the past and present and everywhere around the globe. I cannot really say it, at least in Chinese and English, the heart is used to mean your mental activity. And heart is your intention, the music of the heart, because it's externalized, it's audio, right? So audio means it's not verbal, and you still need to kind of decode it by hearing the sound of the heart. You kind of observe the person, the behavior, and then try to interpret the intention. Okay, enough of that. Just a review. Then 心, wow, when I see this image, I'm like wowed, because it is something every leader wants, which is kind of following, or influencer online, right? Following the way it's following, because there are 4 hand symbols. We have this 3-finger hand with the wrist portion, right? Left and right, like that. And then we have the 3-finger hand kind of reaching upside down, kind of like this, up, like on the top, kind of reaching like that, right? So there are 4 hands surround some other image. So this other image, okay, this arch thing, arch on here is our kind of a space. And then we have the mouse symbol, just a block with the tip kind of up to the up corner, like turning upward cornered mouth, kind of a smiley face. That's how I visualize the mouse symbol. And then we have 1 horizontal line, which means our 1, which implies the sky. But in any case, it means 1. There's only 1 mouth under that space. Can you see, as a contemporary language user, what that symbols put together? Like a small, like in this small space, 3 symbols put in there under 1 space, 1 mouth. That means it's unanimous. Like there is no second voice. Everybody is agreeing into saying the same thing, singing the same song, basically. So within that domain, whatever the area, region, kingdom, tribe, only 1 mouth. So everybody having the same, at least verbalize it, the same language, the same goal, the same, this is kind of the same mission. People are going to the same direction. So then plus the 4 hands means people are holding up. Everybody is pitching in like with their labor, because hand is a symbol for forces applied to the thing, right? So people are actually participating in completing or contributing to the mission. Mission means the same goal, same dream, right? However we want to say it in a contemporary context. So that's the origin of the meaning of this xing. And eventually, I mean, things got simplified. It just top portion, bottom portion, and this complicated structure with just 3 lines, 3 strokes, that's it. And the bottom 2 hands are simplified into that. By looking at this is like too abstract. You cannot really see like what that is made of. But looking at this is exactly the dream of a politician, right? It's like people are thinking the same thing, and they're actually contributing and participating in the same goal, same vision or mission. So that's our xing. Eventually, this way extended into the interest, not just like interest of everybody else, because there is this crowd or people, like multiple people context, but eventually this kind of narrow down to individualized, like individual purpose or interest. Like you agree on this, or you sign up for this trend or mission or hobby or whatever that one thing, one activity or one idea, you sign up for it. So that becomes yours. So that eventually becomes interest. So we have the intent, the non-verbalized internal but non-verbalized signal send still kind of intent, right? And then we have this interest of you sign up for this big vision, you're like a dreamer, okay? And then 阑珊. Okay, these two are very drastically different, but somehow somebody over the history of use of this language put them together, and then it becomes like popularized, like almost like a hashtag back then, right? Somebody put this combination together and they got followers. People keep using this, and then it becomes like a thing solidified into the language, into the expression. So 阑珊, 蓝, we have this door symbol, and we have the door symbol. This is a 2-panel door. So the door in ancient times are kind of decorated on the upper portion where your eye level is. So people entering this, household can see something decorated on the upper panel. So that's why it's a little bit, decorated, and then the door frame at the bottom. And I also suspect like whoever create this image as door have already thought out that we need to leave the empty space over there to plug in other characters so that we can create more meaning from this character. Okay, so this character, it has this tree. So this top arch and the bottom facing downward arch string together by a vertical line. That's our tree symbol. I interpret it as the top is the canopy, right? And the bottom arch is kind of, it can mean drapey. So some canopy, but drapey. But I also interpret it as this is a trunk portion of the tree, right? The tree has to stand tall. So it has this bottom portion arched out, means there's a space over there. You cannot skip that, because if you cut up the bottom portion of it, if you block it, just look at the top, it's grass. It's a low growing, like a grove thing. But with the bottom, with the big arch, that kind of define like that's tall standing plant, and that's our tree. Okay, so we have the tree, and then we have the oval shape in the middle of the tree. That means imagine the Christmas tree. When you pick one and bring it home, you cannot carry it on top of a car when it's fully puffed out, right? You have to combine it, make it as narrow as possible, right? So that narrowing, that binding process is what we're seeing here. The tree got a binding in the middle so that the leaves are gathered together. It reduced the dimension, right? Not dimension, it's still 3D object, but it kind of claps down to like one big spear shape. So that's the binding thing. And on the left and right, there is 2 strokes over here. Sometimes the significance of language is not determined by the size of things. Even if there are only 2 small strokes, it makes all the difference to the meaning, because there are other ways things are decorated. But this tiny little strokes are the intention. Like, okay, so now you have this Christmas tree bound together, and then you have 2 strokes there. That means things are separated. So when you have this tree bound, but you actually have the separation of things later on, this full symbol later on means this sorting process, this one from another. So this separation actually is an essential meaning of the whole, busy picture of this tree in the binding. So this door frame plus this sorting out of this bounded tree actually means one of the meanings. It got many meanings. So one of them I feel like probably relate to this phrase is this blocking sign. So this sorting means sort your household people from the outsiders. That's the sorting, and separated by the door frame. So people coming into the door versus passengers, strangers walking outside the door, they are sorted out by the door. So that extended into this blocking. So you have people who are authorized personnel to enter into this household or this agency versus people who are not eligible to enter. Okay. 山 visually is very busy. So before I said, when we create a language, we have 1 horizontal line means 1, and then we have 2, right? And we have 3. That's the max. And I say people won't be able to distinguish more than 4 and 5, right? So imagine 5 horizontal lines. I haven't seen it, but here we do have 5 vertical lines over there, and then there's this top upper bound and lower bound, something running in between the 2 horizontally. So we have 5 vertical and 2. That's a very busy. That's why we don't see it that often. Anyways, so in contemporary, we make it into easier for the eye. So it's become this. Kind of makes sense, right? And then we have the left is a symbol for jade, because in the past, jade is kind of a precious stone for Chinese culture. So the jade was used as almost as a currency as well. And then there's a string to combine the jade. I mean, normally we just use 3 is enough to mean a group of jade discs, right? So they're combined together. That's a commonly shape or the storage format for jade. So that eventually fixed in our language as the jade symbol. So jade symbol normally is used as something precious, something, you know, have high commercial value. And then the right side have this busy 5 vertical lines, almost like a jail, right? The railings of the jail, almost like that. But it turned out that this is used as the coral. So Chinese culture is agriculture based, right? So when this culture observe something from the ocean, that's kind of not the mainstream, at least. Like most people are living by the land, growing things on the land. So ocean activities like, well, definitely there was no surfing back then, but there were fishing back then, right? And this coral reef observation is kind of rare. So probably some people back then, there was no image captured either, right? You cannot show somebody a picture on the screen as easy as that. You have to kind of describe and imagine how in this plant-looking thing growing underwater, how that looks like. And some language creators would make this image to represent that's how coral looks like. And the coral was used as a kind of a decoration, so home decoration piece, and it's part of like a wealth exhibit. So this precious sign, this precious stone sign was added to that. And 意兴阑珊 all together, after all that complicated image, it simply means the loss of interest. Because when you have some interest of something, there is a sort of momentum, right? You want to spend a lot of time, investigate further, and dive deeper into something, but you're blocked by it. And I totally couldn't connect why this coral thing. Maybe this shan also has this this kind of bar, like behind the bar. So it's also kind of a blockage image. So it's like you're blocked, even if you're interested into getting into like a sign up for some common goal, but you're not authorized or you're not recruited somehow. So you're outsider, you're not allowed into, like you don't have an open door for whatever you want to participate. Or whatever you're interested in, there is blocking, there is this barring or jarring thing. So that's my interpretation of loss of interest. And I'm just visualizing it's not a coral, but it's a sea creature, kind of a disinterested look of clownfish. And this interest is kind of capturing this moment of 意兴阑珊, is you used to have some interest in something, and because you're blocked out of it, you lost the momentum of interest of something. Great. Cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day. See you another day.